Did you know the Algarve can get seriously humid in winter? And what's up with the wind and the wild boars? Stick around to find out about all the surprising things no one tells you about living in the Algarve. Welcome, beautiful people, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Living in the Algarve with me, your host, Raquel, Canadian girl living in the Algarve. Today, we're going to talk about some of the things that no one tells you about the Algarve before moving here. If you're interested in all things Algarve, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I post new videos every single week on this channel. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, a glass of wine, get comfy, and let's dive right in. In the Algarve, there's a unique culinary tradition that you might find intriguing, or not. It's the season of Expats, where you'll see signs popping up everywhere, indicating that snails are on the menu. These Algarvian snails are a local delicacy, and many people absolutely love them. During the summer months, usually from May to August, locals and visitors alike flock to bars, cafes, and restaurants to indulge in plates of these tiny snails cooked in broth of olive oil, garlic, and herbs. They are typically served with a side of bread and a cold beer, making it a popular social snack. I tried them at a local pub once, and I can confidently say that once was enough for me. They have a very distinct taste and texture that isn't for everyone. Eating them can also be a bit of a challenge, as you need to use a toothpick to extract the snails from their shells, which is part of the experience that some people enjoy. While I might not be a fan of snails, I much more enjoy an Algarvian cataplana. This delicious seafood stew cooked in a special clam-shaped pot is packed with fresh local ingredients like clams, prawns, and chorizo, all simmered together in a rich, flavorful broth. It's a must-try if you're in the Algarve and looking to experience the best of the region's cuisine. So if you're feeling adventurous, give the snails a try during the Expats season. You might end up loving them, who knows? But if not, don't worry because the Algarve has plenty of other amazing dishes to offer. Just another thing to consider when exploring the local food scene here in the Algarve. Cheers! In the Algarve, one thing people might not realize is how humid it can get in the winter, leading to dampness and mold in homes. Unless you live in a newly constructed building that addresses this issue, many older homes, even some older luxury villas and apartments, can suffer from dampness and mold during the winter months. This is an important factor to consider when renting or buying a property in the Algarve long term. In older constructions, damp and mold are not a possibility, but a certainty. You might end up in a home that looks absolutely beautiful in the summer and turns into a moldy nightmare in the winter. So you definitely need to take some extra precautions if buying or renting older properties and plan for some updates to avoid this issue. I remember my first winter living full-time in the Algarve. I was excited to experience the mild winter weather and enjoy all aspects of living in my new, to me, country home. But I was completely floored by the dampness and the mold that seemed to appear overnight. Just something to take into consideration when coming to the Algarve. If you're planning to live in the Algarve, one thing to be aware of is the summer month closures, particularly in August. Many businesses and government offices either close or operate with reduced staff during this time because it's peak holiday season. This can be really frustrating if you still need to get things done, so you have to be very aware of these alterations and plan ahead. It's not just the closures. Many immigrants return to the Algarve in August to handle bureaucratic matters, to repair their holiday homes and vehicles, things of that nature. This creates a perfect storm of reduced staff and hours, coupled with an increase in demand for products and services. So be prepared that you may just not get what you want or need during this time. I remember one August when I needed to renew some documents and get my car serviced, and it felt like I was constantly hitting a brick wall, no matter where I went. And after nearly 5 years of living in the Algarve, I still forget this rule of thumb and try to get things done in August. But then again, I'm a Capricorn and we're known for our stubbornness. Just something to keep in mind so you can avoid the hassle by planning your errands and important tasks either before or after the peak holiday months. The Algarve is a super popular tourist spot, so things can change a lot between the high and low seasons. In the summer, the place is buzzing with tourists. Roads get crowded, beaches are packed, and good luck finding a table at your favorite local restaurant without a reservation. The high season is lively and fun, but it also means dealing with crowds and super high prices for a lot of things. On the flip side, the off season is much quieter and you can really enjoy the Algarve's beauty without all the hustle and bustle. But be aware that some businesses might close or have reduced hours during this time. It's important to think about these seasonal changes if you're planning to live in the Algarve year round. For example, I remember one summer when I was totally caught off guard by the number of tourists. Traffic was an absolute nightmare and I had to nearly double my commute time to and from work. This is just something to keep in mind when moving or visiting the Algarve. One of the delights of living in the Algarve is the endless supply of the most exquisitely beautiful and delicious olive oil and vinegar. Whether you're dining at a local restaurant or cooking at home, the quality of these staples is unmatched. However, when it comes to condiments like ketchup, mayo, and mustard, things can get a bit stingy. Unlike in North America, where we're used to getting bottles of condiments brought to the table, restaurants in the Algarve often bring you these teeny tiny little packets and only a few of them. This can be a real issue if you love mayo like myself and my family does. When I go out to eat with my kids, we always need more than a couple of packets. So be prepared to be very clear at the start of your meal that you want more than just a few little packets of condiments. Sometimes it's just easier to bring your own from home. It's a small quirk, but something to keep in mind if you're a condiment lover. While the weather in the Algarve is generally fantastic, it can get really windy. This means you might find yourself constantly cleaning around the garden as leaves, dust, and debris get blown around. Sometimes, when it's really windy, it can even cause damage to trees or result in chunks of debris breaking off the mountains and onto the roads. The wind can be a bit of a nuisance, but it's just another part of life of this beautiful region. On particularly windy days, you might need to secure outdoor furniture and other loose items to prevent them from blowing away. The wind can also make it challenging to enjoy certain outdoor activities like beach days or barbecues without a bit of extra preparation. And here's a funny aside. If you wear a short, loose-fitting dress, you can end up as an accidental flasher. Forget about having good hair days when the wind is up. Despite those challenges, the wind also has its perks. It helps keep the temperatures comfortable during the hotter months, making the summer more bearable. Plus, it's great for water sports enthusiasts who enjoy windsurfing and kiteboarding. Just be prepared for those windy days. Secure any loose items in your garden and maybe invest in some good hair ties and secure clothing options for when you're out and about. Despite the wind, the Algarve's charm and beauty make it all worth it. One of the amazing things about living in the Algarve is the stunning nature and wildlife. From beautiful coastal cliffs and sandy beaches to lush inland forests, the natural scenery here is breathtaking. However, there are a few surprises that come with it. For instance, during certain times of the year, you might encounter jellyfish in the sea or even the occasional snake in the countryside. And let's not forget the wild boars. These animals are common in rural areas and can be a real nuisance, sometimes even causing damage to gardens and property. While these little surprises can take some getting used to, they're all a part of the unique charm of the Algarve. I can still clearly remember my first snake sighting, and encounters with wild boars have been plentiful, and sometimes a little too close for my liking. Just another thing to keep in mind when enjoying the beautiful outdoors of the Algarve. Before we dive into the next tip, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. If you're enjoying these little nuggets of Algarve wisdom, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the rest of these insider tips. Plus, stick around until the end because I've saved the best for last. Let's keep going. In the Algarve, many restaurants typically close from 3 to 7 p.m., which can be a bit surprising if you're not used to it and find yourself really hungry. However, in the tourist areas, you'll usually find places open all day to cater to visitors. So if you're exploring the more authentic parts of the Algarve, plan your meals accordingly. Lunch is usually served between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m., and then many spots close for dinner service, which starts around 7 p.m., so that they can clean up, restock, prep for dinner, and naturally take a break themselves. But don't worry, if you find yourself starving Marvin, there are plenty of cafes and snack bars where you can grab sweet and savory pastries to hold you over. And of course, supermarkets are always open and many local markets stay open for a bit longer than the typical lunchtime. I remember the first time I encountered this midday break, I was wandering around a charming little village, starving and searching for an open restaurant. I ended up finding a cozy little cafe with the most amazing artisanal tosta, made from local sourdough bread and loaded with 3 different kinds of Portuguese cheeses. One of the best, gooeyest, meltiest bits of heaven I've ever had. This break in the day is actually a great time to slow down and enjoy a coffee or a light snack, just like the locals do. It's all part of the relaxed lifestyle here in the Algarve. So embrace the rhythm of the region and use those hours to explore, relax, or indulge in a delicate little pastry. Just another little quirk of life here in the Algarve that also adds to its charm. In the Algarve, some of the best dining experiences are found in the most unexpected and hidden places. Ask any local or anyone who has lived here for a while where their favorite restaurant is, and they will passionately direct you to a spot that wouldn't even register on your radar. But trust me, these places are the real deal and where you'll enjoy some of the best meals you've ever had. A packed parking lot is a sure sign that the food is worth stopping for. These hidden gems are often family-run businesses that focus on a small menu of tried and true favorites served up with generous servings of wine. We're talking rustic, traditional-looking cafes that from the outside don't look like much, but serve the absolute best salgadinhos, savory little pastries, you'll ever taste. The owners will shower attention on your kids, and there's usually an outdoor space that you can watch them burn off some energy while you enjoy the rest of your meal. Then there are the roadside restaurants in the hillside towns where hearty portions of wild game are served with such passion and flavor that you'll certainly be coming back for more. These places are not just about food, they're about the experience, the atmosphere, and the people. You'll find the freshest fish cooked to perfection in some of the most unassuming little spots where the locals go to enjoy their meals. So don't be afraid to go off the beaten path. The Algarve is full of the hidden culinary treasures where you can enjoy authentic Portuguese flavors without the touristy prices. It's all part of the charm of the Algarve, finding these little spots that surprise you with their delicious simplicity. If you're thinking about buying property in the Algarve, here's something to keep in mind. Property prices have been steadily increasing and are expected to continue to rise. Many people come here hoping to find that magical deal on a property, but the truth is those unicorn deals are very rare. The best time to buy was yesterday, as the saying goes. The sooner you invest, the better, because waiting might only lead to higher prices. As someone who works in real estate here, I see this every day. People often come with high hopes of finding a bargain, but the reality is the market is very competitive. The Algarve is a desirable location and demand is high, which naturally drives up the prices. It's often referred to as the California of Europe due to its beautiful weather and stunning coastline, but by comparison, it's still much more affordable. If you find a property you love, my advice is to go for it. It's better to secure a good property now than to wait and face higher prices later. I understand it can be frustrating to see prices climbing, but it's also a sign of a strong and growing market. While projections from experts suggest that property prices will continue to rise, it's important to remember that market conditions can change and nothing is guaranteed. Investing in property here is still a great move, and while the prices might seem high, the value is likely to continue appreciating. So embrace the dynamic and exciting property market in the Algarve and take the plunge when you find the right place. You won't regret it. The Algarve has a rich and fascinating history that is often overlooked and misunderstood. You might find a lot of inconsistencies and inaccuracies about the Algarve's history on the internet, especially in English. Historically, this region has been influenced by a variety of cultures, each leaving their own mark on the area. The Moors, who ruled the Algarve from the 8th to the 13th centuries, have had a particularly lasting impact. They introduced advanced agricultural techniques, architecture, and even the name Algarve, which comes from the Arabic Al-Gharb, meaning the West. You can still see their influences in the region's architecture, which, with its whitewashed buildings, intricate tile work, and irrigation systems. Towns like Snails, with its impressive castle and ancient walls, offer a glimpse into the Moorish era. After the Christian Reconquista in the 13th century, the Algarve became part of the Kingdom of Portugal. The region played a crucial role during the Age of Discoveries in the 15th and 16th centuries, with its ports serving as launching points for expeditions that would shape the modern world. Towns like Lagos and Sagres were instrumental during this period, with Prince Henry the Navigator setting up his school of navigation in Sagres, fostering advancements that would lead to monumental discoveries. In more recent history, the Algarve has evolved from primarily agricultural and fishing region into one of Portugal's top tourist destinations. The region's history is preserved in its many museums, historical sites, and cultural festivals. Visiting places like the Museu Municipal in Faro or the archaeological site of Cerro da Vila in Vila Moura can provide a deeper understanding of the region's diverse past. History is an interesting thing, and when it comes to power and conquest, each nature has its own version. In the Algarve, you'll find a blend of these various historical influences, creating a unique cultural tapestry. When exploring the region, take time to visit the historical sites and museums to get a deeper understanding of its rich past. Just another reason to love the Algarve. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on what no one tells you about moving to the Algarve. If you learned something new today, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell. You won't want to miss what's coming up next. Got questions or need some personal insights? Shoot me an email here, drop me a message on WhatsApp here, or set up your free 30-minute chat with me through my Calendly link right here. I'm here to help make your move as smooth as possible. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and as we say here in the Algarve, beijinhos.